Hi, I'm Jennifer McCoy, a first-year English teacher at PTHS. As I thought about tonight's presentation, I was torn with what to do. I could have presented a lesson, but in English it's often difficult to single out one activity, and I didn't want to merely tell you my accomplishments. So, with a little cinema magic from my husband Scott, here's a video that I hope gives you a taste of what life is like for a first-year English teacher. Teaching English by the numbers. Despite having several years of teaching experience, this is my first year teaching full-time at the high school level. Previously, I taught for 6 years at Heartland Community College in adult ed, community ed, and English. After I left Heartland, I continued to be a consultant of sorts to the adult ed department for an additional 2 years. I came to this year with a lot of excitement about finally teaching the subject and age group I love so much. I had a lot of enthusiasm, but not a lot of ready-made lesson plans. Many of my lessons accumulated through the years were lost when our basement flooded 2 summers ago. Despite the seemingly incomprehensible volume of work before me, Scott would often find me giggling with excitement over this short story or that poem. Thanks to the early start of the school day, for the first time in my life, I became a bona fide coffee drinker. After I've had a cup or two of coffee during my first hour prep, the rest of my morning is spent with juniors. Lots of them. I taught 2 sections of American Lit per semester. We covered material from 1800 to modern, short stories to drama. With so much material to cover and so many students, you can imagine how difficult it is to engage students and create interesting activities. Happily, one student remarked on his teacher evaluation form, "American Lit is surprisingly fun." And if imitation is the highest form of flattery, then I consider myself flattered. Another student wrote, "American Lit and Mrs. McCoy have made me want to become an English teacher." Of course, not all my evaluations were glowing, nor necessarily logical. In my other class of juniors, Composition 1, a student wrote, "The thing I like best about this class is writing," but continued to write, "This class could be improved by writing less." And they did write. Besides a full 5 to 8 page research paper, students completed a response paper, process paper, comparison contrast paper, persuasive paper, and numerous in-class timed writing. I wasn't only grading writing from Comp 1 class, though. English 2, consisting mainly of sophomores, covered writing and writing errors, as well as short stories, poetry, drama, and a novel. English 1 structure is similar to English 2. I taught poetry, short stories, drama, and a novel. What made this class unique was that I didn't teach it alone. Danny Fiorini from the Special Ed Department and I co-taught 2 English 1 classes together. So the first few weeks of school were not only busy with typical planning and grading, but also felt a little like being on a 6-week-long first date. Very nice, polite, and sometimes awkward. I taught 6 classes from 4 different courses, 2 American Lit, 2 English 1, 1 English 2, and 1 Comp 1. Actual classroom instruction was 270 minutes per day. In other words, 4.5 hours. That's 1,350 minutes or 22.5 hours per week teaching my students. So for the year, that's 48,600 minutes of teaching, or 810 hours. But the most exciting number to me is how many hours my 234 students put into their English education, which turns out to be 189,540 total collective hours of learning by my students. These hours were spent learning 66 short stories, 3 novels, 5 plays, and 94 poems. But teaching doesn't just consist of time with students. I graded 2,176 tests and quizzes, 813 special projects, and 1,185 papers this year. That's a total of 4,174 individual items to grade, and that doesn't include the many thousand homework assignments. So, you want to know what else was included in my first year? Here are more of the numbers. I attended 10 faculty meetings, 17 departmental meetings, 4 collaborative group meetings, and 9 SIT IEP meetings. I had 20 days of AM supervision and 7 days of PM supervision. I enthusiastically, although involuntarily, participated in 3 fire drills, 2 tornado drills, 1 code yellow drill, and 2 code red drills. And thankfully, they were only drills. I also participated in 1 awards night, 1 National Honor Society banquet, 1 talent show, 1 homecoming dance and parade, 1 freshman orientation, 2 lunch trainings, 1 co-teaching, 1 symposium training, and 3 Gretchen Courtney workshops. This year alone, I was observed twice by Mr. Kilgore, twice by Mrs. Jones, once by an ISU student, and 3 times by Heartland students. Now here are some of the most fascinating numbers. Students sent to the hall, 3. Students sent to the office, 2. Cell phones I've confiscated in class, 2. Times I've caught students swearing in class, 6. Times I've forgotten my room key, 1. Strikes I had at the teacher Christmas bowling party, 8. Students I've had cry in class, 1. Times I've cried in class, 0. Birthdays I've had, 1. Times I've skipped lunch to continue working, 72. Pounds I lost in the fall heat, 3. Ibuprofen required, 182. Copies I've made this year, 8,348. Times I've jammed the copy machine, 3. Times I've unjammed the copy machine, 6. Times I blew the circuit in my room, 5. Times my room circuit blew other rooms, 3. That was my first year of classes here at PTHS. Students I've had this year, 234. Co-teacher, 1. Mentor, priceless.